Welcome, air signs, to the reading for December 6 through 12. I'm Madeline with Spiritual Rebirth Tarot. It's so nice to have you here. And I'm an air sign too, so I'm a Gemini sun and Aquarius moon. So quite airy and love to talk, right? Anyway, so nice to have you here at the channel. Please, if this resonates with you, subscribe and share. It's such a great community that we are growing here. So nice to have you as part of it. And let us ask for advice from the divine first and protection as we begin. Okay, so I would like to start with one of my favorite decks, which is the Colette Baron Reed Animal Oracle Tarot cards. And they really kind of start the reading out nice for you air signs, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. And as we go along, this is a general reading, so it will resonate with some of you more than others. There's often be things that are said that you're like, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear. So as we go along, you'll kind of notice those. The Spirit brings us all messages. And so let's start with a couple of cards from this tarot deck with the animals. So any of the decks, the cards that I have, the decks are listed below in the description box, so you can look at that. And then for this reading, there will be an extended. The extended will look at a chakra card for each of the different signs, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra, and then a few tarot cards to kind of help define that a little more, and take a look in the book and find a few key points that come out about the chakra that is being recommended that you work on during this week. So I like to put Reiki energy into the deck. It'll help guide us in our selection of the cards. So the underneath card is the bat, which is the rebirth, like my channel, Spiritual Rebirth Tarot. So the rebirth is assured. And the second card on top, armadillo, set healthy boundaries. It's 5, 3, and then 53. Wow, so 53 as the angel number you might want to look up to get more from this reading. And so seahorse, watch and wait. So you be sure and look up, you can even just look up right now, 53. I believe that will have an extra message for us here at this time. And so as we're looking at these, I think that this rebirth of this reconnection, renewal in your life will have something to do with setting these boundaries. And, there's nothing harder to do and more important to do. And I think maybe for us air signs it's especially hard because in a way we don't personally have as many boundaries. We don't have as many rigid structures. And so, by having, as we're setting healthy boundaries with ourselves and with others, we're going to have a lot more compassion and happiness in our lives. And then also this watch and wait, kind of that concept of, taking that moment or that pause of time. So part of the boundary is saying, you know what, I need 10 minutes just to myself to go meditate and pray, journal, whatever you need to do. So setting a healthy boundary to get yourself to a position that you can be doing that watching and waiting, that'll help you to have a rebirth and a regeneration. So that is kind of the overall message for you, air signs, this week. So let's take a look at the tarot and see what other messages are coming out for you. So messages for the air signs in the second week of December. Time just flies. 6 to 12. So just next thing we know, it's going to be the end of the year. I know we're really looking forward to December 21st. It's the solstice, the change, from Sagittarius. It has a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. So I'm trying to do some extra readings related to that during this time period, and really focusing on that. We have the new moon coming up, and also the solar eclipse on the 14th. Okay, so the first card for the message is the Justice. It's another bat. So I'm thinking maybe we should focus a little on the bat energy. The bat has most bats come out at night, and they spend their time, flying around at night. They use sonar to be able to do that effectively. This bat with all these flowers around makes me think of one of the bats that eats fruit or drinks flowers. Some bats, eat bugs. It's funny how kind of scary they are because they have such a wonderful energy. And in this card, it's in the Justice card, which has to do with balance. And so, in the other card, it's about rebirth. So I think it's that, we can look at it kind of as, for this week, we're looking for kind of like a rebalancing and a rebirth of the energies of this week. And what I'm being drawn to with this is the kind of like a starburst effect behind the moon. And so it kind of reminds you of that sonar, and that maybe there's more about hearing this week. So make sure that you are spending time to really listen to people. And for some of you, it might be really easy to talk, but half of communication is actually just the listening aspect. And that, if you think about the bats, they're using listening to help them fly. They're not really using their eyes to see everything. They're using their ears with the sonar to kind of like bounce off of things and help them know where to go. And so listening will help you know where you need to go and what you need to do during this week. So let's take a look at the energies for this week. What are the messages coming out for the air signs for this coming week? Okay, so the Five of Wands. Yeah, so, this communication is going to be really important because something's going to come up with kind of a, the Five of Wands is about conflict and difficulties, especially amongst people. And in this case, because there's only the one beaver, and it's like, see, it kind of looks frustrated, right? Because he's like, oh, this water's so choppy. It'd be so much easier to build this dam if this water wasn't quite so choppy. And I'm sorry, these are very, very strong lights today. Let me see if that... No? Okay, well, beautiful energy. So the Five of Wands coming in is also emphasizing that communication, because so many times I kind of see this conflict card in two ways, because there's so many times that actually our relationships fail because there isn't conflict. You know, we don't say the thing we need to say. We don't do the thing that we need to do to really help our relationship grow. And so when you're in a committed relationship, you know, whether it's with somebody that you love or your children, you know, a partner, your parents, having a little conflict sometimes can be a good thing. Now, learning how to do that in a way that is you setting these good boundaries, you know, having these positive boundaries in your life rather than just arbitrarily fighting. And so, you know, obviously yelling and fighting isn't the way to go, but also not being afraid of a little bit of conflict that can be resolved. And so here, you know, the beaver's thinking, how can I use this to my advantage? How can I make this more advantageous to, you know, to have this water the way it is? So even though right now it's hard to build this dam with this water so choppy, in the end, there's going to be a lot of really great water in his pond, and it's going to be very, you know, pure and clean, and he makes sure just the right amount can kind of like, you know, flow out and underneath the dam and stuff so that it continues on its way. And beavers actually really are, I've watched some videos about how they will just transform a whole piece of landscape that has almost died, and you put a beaver in and they create their dam and they control the water for a while, and it just does amazing things to the surroundings. So, you know, even though you're dealing with a little bit of conflict, that conflict could be the perfect thing to just grow and develop that relationship in amazing ways. So let's see what other advice might be coming for us at this time. Okay, Knight of Pentacles. So in this energy, there's a lot more of a slowness, a gentleness, a sweetness, and also, you know, kind of a stubborn, willful, determined. And so there may be something in your life this week, you know, in your life path that you will need to create a little bit of patience around somebody who's kind of stubborn. So it might be that somebody, you know, like a child or, you know, a lover or somebody in your life will be kind of like stubborn and difficult to deal with, and a little extra patience and gentleness will really go a long ways. So if there are any situations that come up this week, feel free to make some comments down below. You know, I'm especially being drawn to how shiny this this pentacle is, and so the you know, could also have something to do with money. Like somebody in your life is going to be kind of like stubborn or difficult in the area of money, and you will need to have some patience and some communication, setting some boundaries, some healthy boundaries. And taking some time to yourself, meditation and contemplation, to be able to know how best to deal with this person and move on in your life. So I kind of have a feeling that during this week, you're going to be having to deal with somebody who is kind of a struggle for you. Okay, so let's take a look at one more card for the energies of this week. Okay, air signs. The Tower. Okay, so when the Tower comes in for the week, there's something that's going to break. Something that's going to have some struggles or some difficulties for you. And a Tower is usually immediate, so it's definitely going to happen during this week. You know, even today when you're watching this video, you'll definitely kind of like feel a little jolt or a shock. But a tower also, you do have the ability to kind of muffle that. So in other words, let's say that the tree is failing and you see that it's failing, and so instead you cut it down. And so you can choose to create the tower in a way that it's not going to harm your house, it's not going to harm your life, it's not going to be a major break, that it can be orchestrated and engineered correctly. And I know, like, there have been some things in my life recently that have been some really big towers, and some of them have just like blindsided me, but some of them I was able to manage and you know, create in, you know, in such a way in my life that I was able to move on from that without, you know, a huge amount of devastation. Most of the time, the tower washes away the things that are rotten, like the old rotten dead tree, you know, the old rotten, you know, tower that's on a poor foundation, you know, and what is left is something beautiful to build on. And that's what this energy of the rebirth is, assured. And for me, for this week, I think it has to do with listening and hearing for you, and really kind of sitting back more than usual and observing what's going on. So let's pull a couple of cards for the tower to kind of understand what is the tower about. That's a little too much. Okay. Page of Wands, Page of Swords. Oh my goodness, Page of Pentacles. 3 pages having to do with the tower. So it could be something to do with someone young, like one of your children. I know right now with the schools being closed, there's so many things going on with our children, trying to work around them in our houses, you know, all of those things while we're working. And then it's, you know, Wands, Swords, and Pentacles. So the one that's missing is the Cups. And the Page of Cups is that, you know, the like a romantic offer and the offer of love, the whether it's like something that you're going to love, like a new career, or something that you're going to love, like this loved one in your life, you know, a new baby. So I'm guessing that that's like the most important part for you this week, is because the one that's missing kind of is, in a way, is the one that stands out. So there might be a tower for you around a loved one that's younger. And so you might, I know if there's something that goes on, you know, let me know in the comments. I think that you definitely are going to be, I kind of just feel like it has something to do with school. And so it might be that somebody's unhappy with you, with the way the school's, you know, being run, or you're not getting the child to do the things that they need to do in school. And there's just something to do with their schooling that's extra hard for you this week. So try to mitigate some of those things. You know ahead of time that something's going to collapse around it. So if you have children in your life, especially, you know, take a look at that situation and see, is there something that I can do to keep there from being a big tower that happens? Is there some rotten wood somewhere? Is there, you know, just something that just isn't working somewhere that I can, you know, it's interesting to talk about rotten wood, because in the animal deck with the beaver, it talks about, you know, the beaver wants to build a solid foundation and doesn't use like rotten wood. So I feel like there has something to do with rotten wood, and it might even be that there's something in your house that is like a mold, you know, that you need to look at, or some kind of rotten wood, some kind of a mold for some of you that's making you sick, or your children sick, or something like that. So anyway, I think that this tower has something to do with somebody young that you love and that you really care about, and to you know, wrap your arms around them, put some extra attention into them, and just really look to see if there's anything you could do to mitigate the situation and make it a little easier this week. And I'll bet you it has something to do with communication, since that's been kind of the theme here, which is kind of cool because the Gemini, communication is the theme. So let's finish off with a. I know I should have had these out. The well-being cards. I love these. Abraham Hicks. If you get a chance to listen to any of the Abraham Hicks stuff, it's really amazing. It'll change your life. And as you find more happiness, these things will just flow into your life little by little, bit by bit. And watching the channel grow, and my children grow, and just my own happiness grow. It's a really beautiful thing. So I highly recommend listening to Abraham Hicks, and I try to do that like once every day. Okay, so let's end with a message. Beautiful sun here. This is a glorious time for me to be on this earth. So, it's really hard in 2020 to think of this is a good time to be here, but it really is. You are extensions of source energy here in these magnificent physical bodies. The amazing diversity of your time-space reality provides the perfect balance from which to create and attract. There has never been a better time to be upon this planet. And so even though there's so many hard things, we're not able to be with our friends and our families in the holidays like we want to. There's so many sad and difficult things. This is also a time of, of purging of the whole world, entering the age of Aquarius and the end of December, and just all of these beautiful, wonderful energies, people awakening to their, life purpose and soul path, and whole new energies on the planet. So it's a beautiful time to be alive. It's a beautiful time to be bringing those energies into our world. So if you would like any additional readings related to some of these things, click, book a reading. Feel free to book a reading with me. And I do love and career, and also, life path, and like why you're here on this planet, past lives, and in relation to why you're here on the planet, and also healing with Reiki and Theta. So it's really nice to meet you, and we'll continue on with the reading in the extended. We'll start by looking at the chakras, chakra card for each of the different air signs, and then expand a little bit with the tarot. So go ahead and click the link below. I'd love to continue on in this journey with you today.